loudest fuel pump. As you saw from the opener, the underside of the car is looking tight, as the younger folks say. Do they say that? I don't know. Obviously, I don't qualify for younger folks, so I'm assuming they say that still, or I heard it somewhere. Anyways, the bottom of the car is, in my opinion, looking pretty damn good and pretty darn finished. And yeah, there's a little bit of paint I got to touch up around the roll bar and the drive shaft loop that I got to touch up from paint welding that stuff in. But other than that, the bottom is done and finished. The top side of the car, well, it's looking a little less finished, but still looking good in my book. If you're new to the channel, quick little rundown of what's going on here with this car. I've had it since I was in high school. That was a long, long time ago. And I've been working on it for the last few years. Kind of a little more seriously, say the last couple years. And I finally got this thing together. She runs, she drives, and I struggled forever trying to figure out what color to paint it. And then I kind of decided, I got tired of, well, I didn't get tired of trying to decide. I just got used to looking at it like this. And I think it looks a little mean, it looks a little tough. And so, at least for now, maybe not forever, we are staying bare metal, baby. So this is the bare metal 55, and we just have to protect it so it doesn't get trashed. So how are we gonna do that? Well, a viewer of mine, a few videos back, also said he liked it in bare metal, and he suggested I try this product called Sharkhide. I'd never heard of it before, and so I looked it up, and it seems like, you know, it gets some good reviews. People seem to dig it. Clear protective coating for all types of metals: aluminum, cast iron, copper, brass, bronze, steel, stainless. I just picked it up on eBay. I'll have a link to it in my Amazon store if you have some bare metal you want to protect. I can't really say how well it works yet because I haven't tried it. I have an unopened bottle here, and the theory is we got to clean the metal up a little bit, and then we're going to wipe this on. I'll show you how it says to install it. And I'll probably do like a little test area and make sure it's going to work out. But, you know, we'll put it on, we'll see how she looks, and then we'll come back and revisit this in, you know, a few months or whenever and see how it's protecting the metal. So if you take an overall gander at the car, it's kind of hard to tell in this lighting, but the front sheet metal is a little shinier than the rest of it. And that's because this is freshly sanded within the last month or so. And then this back here, everything else has been bare metaled for a couple of years at this point. I've touched it up a few times with some sanding because I was going to prime it, and then I didn't, and that sort of stuff. But, you know, we got a little bit of surface rust starting. We have a nice dry climate here in Montana. I know some people say if they leave this stuff sitting in bare metal, it rusts within a few days. I don't have that problem here, but I do still need to protect it. There's been, I am driving the car now a little bit, and there's been times I was going to go for a cruise or go to a little cruising thing, and it's a little rainy, and I know. Bare metal, I don't want to go out there yet. So we got to get it protected. The first step we have to do is we got to resand the whole rest of the car. So I don't know, some people are telling me that I'm crazy for doing this, and some people say it's a good idea or they like the way it looks. I mean, I think it looks mean and tough, scars and all. So I got some welding scars here. We got a poorly replaced quarter panel from back in the 90s. We got a poorly removed gas door from recently. I did that myself poorly. I figured, what's it, you know, you're gonna fill it in with fill or nobody's ever gonna know. Well, now it's just another scar everybody's gonna see. And I can tell them, yeah, I did that and I did a crappy job, but so be it. And so we're gonna do some sanding. It says to clean the metal with thinner if there's any wax and grease or anything on it. I don't know if I need to do that or not. We'll see, I'll think about it. But we're gonna get her all cleaned off, sanded, get her all nice and shiny like the front here. And then show you how it says to apply the Sharkhide. Now, I've never installed it. I've never applied it. You know, we're gonna learn together. I'll show you how I'm gonna do it. And then you can think about if it's something you might be interested in doing. Oh, and a quick shout out to my buddy Fiano, the Tri-5 guy. He's got some new shirts. He's got a badass YouTube channel. You guys that are watching this channel, you know that I kind of fumble my way through this. I do everything 2 or 3 times. I eventually figured out. I mean, you know, I built that. But if you want somebody with some real knowledge about Tri-5s and building these things, check out the Tri-5 guy on YouTube. He's got some really informative stuff, really informative videos, and he knows his stuff. I was looking forward to meeting him at Nationals this year, but I'm not gonna make it. Pretty sure he's gonna be there. So if you're gonna be there, look him up and tell him I said hi. So step number one, we're gonna break out the DA sander with 80 grit. That's what I have mostly sanded this with, is 80 grit. Originally, I was planning on shooting the bare metal with SPI epoxy, and that's what they want, is 80 grit sanding scratches, 80 grit DA sanding scratches in the bare metal. So that's this finish. That's what that's from, is 80 grit sandpaper. So I'm going to just hit the whole thing with that again. I saw somebody else, another video where somebody applied this Sharkhide to bare metal, and their truck was really, really shiny. It looked pretty cool, but he used progressively lighter or finer grit sandpapers and kind of almost like polished his metal, then put the Sharkhide on. I'm not going for that kind of polished look. I'm just used to seeing it how it is, so I just like how it is, and so that's what we're going for. So we're gonna break out the 80 grit and buzzy pretty much the whole car. I'll probably even touch up the front a little bit. Try to get a consistent 80 grit finish on it. Now, there's lots of places where I have these deeper sanding scratches from back in the day. I don't know if I did it or somebody else that stripped paint before they had it from me. Obviously use something stronger or you know, coarser than 80 grit, because there's lots of these deeper scratches in the car. I'm not gonna, those aren't gonna go away with my 80 grit. You're still gonna see them, but that's what I'm going for anyway. So probably mostly fast motion. We'll do a bunch of sanding. I might come back and show you or talk about anything interesting I find along the way. Otherwise, we'll be back when we're ready to apply the Sharkhide. All right, here we go. 80 grit on the DA. Got the old hearing protection in, and we are going to go to town. My hands are gonna be vibrating like crazy by the time this is over. Here we go. I just got done sanding everything, and of course it took a little longer, or it was a little more work than I expected, but I think I got her all shined up pretty good. I got all the rust off. There's a few little spots where there's still a little bit of paint, and I didn't get everything like under the bumper there, and you know, there's still some filler that in really low spots around these holes that I didn't like chisel out or dig out, but got her mostly smooth. I got to run to town and get a few supplies. And we're back. As usual, I got distracted a little bit, but I just got back. I had to run to town. But before I did that, I got the sanding all done. And I got some goodies out here. Some cleaner and the Sharkhide. And I did this front valance piece. So it's been sitting for about a half hour. Feels dry to the touch. And yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to do a little sample piece. I don't know if it's the way the light hits it, but it does. You know, that piece looks a little darker than the other pieces. So I think it kind of darkens it up a little bit. Doesn't really give it much sheen or anything. Yeah, so I just wanted to do a sample and let it sit and see how it goes. I got a little bit more stuff I need to do before we actually get to applying the Sharkhide. I got to take this trim off. I should probably put like just one row of masking tape around all the glass. I took the back trim off already, so that's no big deal. And then, unfortunately, I thought I had a rust-free car, and I pretty much do, but as I was doing this sanding, I found one little teeny tiny pinhole right there. And I kind of broke it out a little bit. So I'll grab a screwdriver and just kind of poke away anything that's weak there. And then we'll fire up the old welding machine and just buzz that shut, grind it off. It'll just be another scar. Perfect. So we'll do that, do some masking, and then we'll come back and talk about how we're going to apply the Sharkhide. Here we are back to our little hole. I just took the screwdriver in there and just kind of got away all the little tiny weak metal. So it's pretty solid metal to that point. Hole got a little bigger, but I think I can still just buzz that in with the welder. I know how it's gonna go though, because even though, you know, all the supposedly thin metal I knocked out of there, it's still gonna be pretty thin, and I'm gonna hit it with the welder and it's just gonna make the hole bigger, and I'm gonna end up chasing it around. But hopefully that's not the case. And even if that is the case, hopefully I can eventually catch up to the hole and get her filled in. So here we go. All right, there's the Gobula weld we ended up with to try to, well, it looks like it might have one little pinhole still. Maybe not. All right, we'll grind her off and see what happens. And here's the same spot after welding and grinding. I usually say it isn't perfect, but there ain't no hole there anymore. But this time, I mean, it may not be perfect, but you can't even tell where the little hole was. So I think we nailed it this time. Back to Operation Sharkhide. I think we're finally at the clean the metal stage. I wasn't really sure if I needed to do this because I just freshly sanded everything, but there's a little bit of water in my compressor as usual, so it kind of sprays a little bit of that oily, watery looking nastiness when I'm sanding and spraying, because I'm not very good about draining my compressor like I'm supposed to. I mean, I do, but not as much as I should. So it says on the instructions, I'm lost here, to use lacquer thinner. I use glass cleaner on this part and it seemed to work. I guess I should probably be following the instructions, but I have just barely any lacquer thinner on hand. So I'm just gonna do a light spray of this and wipe everything down, and then we'll get on with the Sharkhide. I know a lot of guys use this kind of as their wax and grease remover when they're painting, so I figured it should work, but I also don't know how it's going to react to that product, but hoping it works, I guess. All right, on a weird spot right here. It's kind of rough, so I'm going to hit that with the sander real quick. Check it out. Car is all sanded, blown off, and then cleaned up with that sprayway and some paper towels. And she looks pretty darn shiny and good. Obviously we got some masking around the windows, probably not totally necessary, but just don't want to wipe the Sharkhide on. So we are ready to start applying the Sharkhide Metal Protectant. Now I want to start by saying I've never done this before, but it seems fairly easy. I'll show you what I know about it, but I recommend if you're going to do this to your car or any other, I think it's popular for boats and other stuff. If you're going to use this stuff, I recommend going to sharkhide.com. They got a little demonstration video and then some frequently asked questions and whatnot. And I haven't called them, but they said they got a technical service line, or if you need help, they'll help you out. I haven't tried it, but that's what it says on the website. So Sharkhide Metal Protectant. I already showed this to you guys. What they recommend to apply it with are cloth baby diapers, which I ordered here, Gerber from Amazon. I'll put a link on my Amazon store. So if you got, either a baby that needs cloth diapers or a hot rod, street rod, something else, anything cool that's bare metal and you want to protect it with Sharkhide, you're going to need some cloth diapers. They recommend to not use any other type of towel or rag. It does say you can spray it on like in the frequently asked questions, but in the demonstration video, they wipe it on. So you're going to fold. This is my little rag from doing my first little sample spot on the front, whatever that's called. So you're going to fold the towel up to basically fit in your hand. It says to never use a bucket or a pail and dip the rag into it. It says that's a no-no. You want to saturate the rag just by pouring it on, and then you just simply wipe back and forth. And in the video, the demonstration video, they never lift the rag up. Now, obviously you're gonna have to lift the rag up at some point, but let me get this all set up, and it's probably easier for me to show you what I mean than sit here and talk about it, because I'm not super great explainer of things. So let's get to Sharkhide. All right, here we go. We got our cloth diaper folded about the size of your hand. Now on the demonstration video, they poured it directly out of the can and they saturated the rag. Of course, they didn't spill it all over their metal while they did it. They said you don't want it dripping wet, but you want it soaking through to the other side. All right, I can feel it getting my hand wet now. And then what they said to do, you apply it to the metal, make a smooth, even swipe. Don't lift it up. Come down, overlap an inch or two. Make another pass. Don't lift it up, come down an inch or two, or overlap an inch or two. Make another pass. It says to never do a swirling motion. Now, like I said, it was easy for him to demonstrate this on a nice flat car, but we're obviously going to have to pick it up now. So I'm going to try to do, I don't even know if you guys can see me, my rag is still saturated, so I'm just going to wipe this front area really well. You can do up to a 10-foot swipe, or wipe, however you want to say it. All right, so that's that half of the hood. I'm gonna saturate my rag a little bit more. I don't know if you guys are, and I have no idea how time sensitive this stuff is or what we're dealing with as far as that goes. It says it dries to the touch in 2 minutes or something. It takes a couple hours to cure. All right, I know I got out of frame for you guys there, but it says you can do 10-foot swipes. So I basically did from the fender to the door back and forth, and then the quarter panel back and forth. So this side is all done, you know, the side of the car. I still got to do the back and trunk and all that stuff. Anyhow, that's the brief explanation. We'll probably fast forward the rest of this and see how it goes. All right, so that was hard to film and keep going and keep you guys in frame, so I know a lot of it you guys didn't see. But at the end of it, this is my rag. I used maybe half a quart. I just used the same diaper or rag or whatever. I just kept flipping it to kind of a clean spot. So let's see, what else? Let me throw this down. The glove didn't survive, so maybe heavier duty gloves. So hands are plenty sticky. If it did that to the rubber, what's it doing to my skin? I don't know. I'm sure I'll survive one way or another. Get that off of there. So here we go. I have no idea if this is gonna dry with a bunch of streaks and stuff in it. I think I got everything. I mean, you can see it going on, so it's pretty easy to, you know, not miss anything. But they do recommend at least 2 coats. And they say that's because pretty hard to miss the same spot twice, because obviously it's bare metal. If you miss a spot, that spot is going to be no good. So it says dries to the touch in like 90 seconds or 2 minutes. I haven't touched anything yet, but it does say that you need to let it cure, or for best results to let it cure before you put the second coat on. That can take 2 hours or up to 24 hours depending on temperature and humidity. So I don't know how long it's going to take, but I'm probably going to go inside, eat some dinner, chillax for a little bit, and then we'll come out in a few hours and put on another coat. And we're gonna hope that it looks decent. I mean, it looks decent so far. I can kind of see a few little streaks. You know, I know the pattern, so I can kind of see it, but I don't know if anybody else will be able to see it, or we gotta let it cure and see. So sorry I'm rambling here, but I'm hoping I didn't just ruin my car. But anyways, there she is. She looks good so far. And we'll be back for coat number 2. Maybe I'll do like fast motion on my head or something so you guys can see the method I'm doing a little better. And then we'll see how she looks when she dries. Fingers crossed, it's gonna be badass. All right, we're back after some dinner. Maybe hour and a half dry time. It's pretty cool in the shop tonight. Thermostat says 68 degrees or so. It's definitely dry to the touch. Like I said, the frequently asked questions, it says before you recoat it, they recommend letting it cure. It could take a couple hours or up to 24. So I don't know if it's cured or not, but I'm putting another coat on here before I go to bed. So I think it looks pretty darn good. There's a couple spots where I noticed as I was kind of walking around the car at the end that like I missed the very peak of the hood here. And so I took another swipe down it, and I don't know if it shows up on the camera, but I can see that last swipe I took, like it left a little streak. And then other than that, there's maybe a couple streaky things up on the lid up there. And I think that's, as I was doing this side, I don't think I had enough Sharkhide on the rag. It was still leaving it wet, but it wasn't, you know, leaving it as good. So what I'm hoping for, I don't know because I've never done this, I'm hoping the second coat will hide that stuff, or maybe it's gonna make it show up worse, I don't know. But even if it ends up like this, I don't know if it fades over time or what, but I mean, I think I really dig it. It puts a little sheen to it, supposed to protect it. So we are gonna do a second coat. Again, go to sharkhide.com, frequently asked questions, and watch them to figure out how to really do it. But I'm just kind of showing you how it kind of goes for somebody that maybe doesn't really know what they're doing and they're trying to do it. So this time I'm gonna start with the roof or the lid or the ceiling, the top of the car. I should have done that before, but I was trying to demonstrate and I thought it was easier to demonstrate on the hood, and then it got, you know, I couldn't lean against the car and stuff when I was trying to get up and do the top of the car before. So we're gonna start up here this time. I think I'll throw the camera on the old head mount thing and you guys can kind of see how I'm doing it. And then I'll probably end up putting it in fast motion so it doesn't bore you guys to death, but I'll let you know at the end kind of like how long it took. I bought 1 quart of this stuff and I probably used a little less than half, so probably even only maybe a third. So I definitely, 1 quart will definitely do a full-size car like this. And I can't remember, I've had it for several months. Look it up yourself, but I think it was $70 or something for the quart. So could be wrong, somewhere in there. Again, I'll have a link on my Amazon store, Montana Garage. Search Montana Garage Amazon store, or there'll be a link in this video. So you can get your own Sharkhide if you want to try this. And I got to remember, you guys can't see because it's dark, but my little quick performance sign on the rear end, I left a little bare metal on that too. I don't know if you can even see it. So I got to remember when I'm done to crawl under there and protect that. All right, here we go. Fresh rag. Some more Sharkhide. I'm gonna saturate the rag really good. And then we're gonna go to town. I'm gonna set this down so I don't spill it a little more. So I just keep kind of adding to the rag along the way. I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but here we go. Reach out to the middle. Got you guys on the old head cam. I don't know if it's aimed in the right spot. I hope it is. Come down. Okay, it's definitely harder to see on the second coat. At least it is up here on the roof. I can't tell. Oh, almost stepped off my ladder. Where the first, like where the wet streak is as well. All right, it's a little easier to see now. It's getting over here. Also, maybe doesn't glide as nicely. Like it's sticking to the other coat. Not really sticking, but alright, so hopefully I got all of that. Take this guy to the other side. Go this way, because I got a tripod in the way over there. I'm being sure to get like underneath the bottom edge of the quarter panel or the fenders. I got paint on most of those places, but stuff is a little stinky. I probably maybe should have put a respirator on. I'd probably recommend that for somebody else that wants to try this, but hasn't killed me yet, I guess, but it is definitely a little stinky. All right, I really think I got it all. 14 minutes. All right, here we are after the second coat. I had a couple spots It looked a little streaky, one spot on the hood and then a spot on the trunk. And so I got the rag wet and tried to fix it, and I think I probably just made it worse, so maybe not the best idea, but we'll see how it looks when it's all dry. But after I redid this trunk, you can actually kind of see like the rag swoops from the rag or whatever, this kind of like the little lines, you know what I mean? I don't know if it shows up on camera, but hopefully when it dries, it's all going to be nice. And you know, I don't know once it's out in the sun if the stuff all kind of fades together. Anyways, if it looks anything like it did after the first coat, I'm going to be super happy with it. So it's getting late. That's it for tonight. We're going to let her dry. We'll come back in the morning and see how we did. And well, bam! There we have it. The Sharkhide has been applied. It is not the next day. It's like a week later. I got distracted with life as usual. But so now we know it's had plenty of time to dry and cure. So this is what it's going to look like, I'm pretty sure. And I think it looks pretty darn good. Out here in the bright sunshine, it's hard to tell, but there is a little bit of sheen on the metal. And also in the Montana garage in there under like the fluorescent lights, I can see a little bit of the streaking from the rag, but out here in the sunshine I can't see that stuff at all. So I think it's looking pretty darn good. Now time will tell how well it actually protects the metal. That's what it's designed for. It's a metal protectant. So we got to get it out in the rain and the weather a little bit, and we'll see what happens. We'll come back and report in the future how effective this stuff actually is. Now I've had a few viewers tell me they've used it and they're happy with it. There's tons of reviews online saying people are happy with it. So I expect pretty much to stay looking like this. I added a couple other things for the big reveal here. We got door handles. This car hasn't had door handles on it as long as I've owned it. That was since like 1988. I got all new lock cylinders with matching keys, so everything can be locked up now. Put the trim and the plates back on. So all we're waiting on now is the title to the car still. If you watched the last video, you know the story on that. Still waiting. So I've been driving it a little bit around the neighborhood, but no real cruising or doing anything crazy yet because I don't have any plates. So fingers crossed that shows up soon. Next on the agenda, we got to get the carpet in here. I got to do some work on the back seat to make that fit. I got a package tray liner thing. That's really about all that's left for my version of done. So anyways, that's about it for this video. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. Next time when we come back, we'll probably go back in time again and we'll do some videos about installing the American auto wire harness in there. There's kind of a lot to that, and I think a lot of people go through that, so hopefully that video will help some people out. So make sure you come back for that, and thanks for watching.